Hey, what's going on, Colts Nation? Xzavier Caudill here, and today we're going to be doing a little film breakdown of Carson Wentz. Now, it's not going to be so much breaking down film, it's just going to be me showing what he's going to bring to this offense. I'm going to tell you the differences we're going to be seeing next year in 2021 versus what we saw in 2020. Now, what was our biggest weaknesses in 2020? For the first half of the season, offensively, the issues were pretty much everything. It felt like we couldn't run the ball. They were stacking boxes against us. We couldn't do anything. And then we couldn't pass the ball either. Philip Rivers just didn't look comfortable. He just wasn't making the correct reads. But as time went on, once we hit about that week 10, week 11 mark, our offense started to click, and it was like we could do everything. We could run the ball. We were getting 150 yards a game running the ball, and then Philip Rivers was throwing for 250 and playing cleanly, not turning the ball over, doing a great job of valuing the possession of the ball. So it was really a tale of two sides whenever we think about our offense last year through the first half and the second half. But next year, I expect a different outcome. I expect us to be able to run the ball for sure at the start of the season this coming year, and I expect for us to be able to pass the ball as well. And why do I say that? Well, there's going to be a few new aspects to our offense adding Carson Wentz that we didn't have previously with Philip Rivers. Now, of course, having Philip Rivers gone, we're losing a guy that's going to be able to evaluate the field at an elite level, a guy to be able to make adjustments. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback for a reason. He's a very smart guy. But Carson Wentz is going to bring, his own values as well. And the first one I'm going to show you here is the biggest one we were missing last year, and that is being able to stretch the field vertically. We did not have that aspect to our game. Philip Rivers, if we wanted to throw the ball deep, someone would have to be, have an 8-yard lead on him, and he would have to throw it with great anticipation, and hopefully he hit it. That was just, it's hard for a quarterback to play like that. Obviously he lost his arm strength. He was an older, father time really got to him. But still yet, again, I commend him for what he did. It's just a part of our offense we didn't have. But if we watch here, Carson Wentz has an absolute cannon of an arm. From the 28-yard line all the way down to the 10 on a dime. That was just a beautiful pass. And that's something I'm hoping we're going to see a lot more of this coming year, especially in this scheme. If you think about it, our offense is really similar to the Eagles' 2017 offense. If you look at offensive line, we have an elite offensive line just like they did. Receiving core is somewhat similar. We're just missing a guy like Zach Ertz. I'm just hoping that this is going to work out as it seems to be coming together, because it looks like Ballard is doing a great job of putting the same pieces around Frank Reich that he had in 2017. So this next play I'm going to show you is going to be something that I feel like we're going to see a lot next year. And this is really in all of Reich's offenses. Even with Philip Rivers this year, we were kind of running some of this, but it's hard to run an RPO whenever your quarterback runs a 5-3. It's just not it's not feasible at times. But with Carson Wentz, Carson Wentz isn't necessarily a slow guy. He has some mobility to him. Even after the injuries, he can still move around in the pocket, and he still has open field speed to a certain extent. So I expect a lot of RPOs like this play here, where he takes his hand off, he reads the linebacker. Once he sees the linebacker commits to the running back, he comes back to Aguilar and hits him over the middle. That's an excellent play design. That's something Frank Reich loves. And I'm sure we're going to see a vast amount of more of that next year whenever Wentz is added to the system. So this next play I'm going to show you is going to be an example of a play that we will be able to run in the 2021 season that we couldn't run in 2020 because of Philip Rivers. Again, Philip Rivers' biggest issue was what? His mobility. Just the fact that at the age he was at, he had no movement in the pocket. He was just kind of a statue back there. It wasn't a huge issue because we had an elite offensive line. Of course, he was protected very well, but at times it just seemed like he couldn't move. But again, with Carson Wentz, that is not the case at all. Carson Wentz has a well above average mobility for an NFL quarterback. So what does that mean? That doesn't only mean that he'll be able to evade blitzers or evade the occasional edge rusher that'll get through past our elite offensive line. That means we get to open up, run play action, and roll this guy out. We get to run, just play action boots, stuff like that. Plays like this, stuff we didn't see from the Colts last year because, of course, Phillip Rivers couldn't get out there. I actually saw one boot from Phillip Rivers the whole time, and it didn't work. I think he threw it away. But still yet, it's going to be really cool that Frank Reich's going to be able to incorporate this into his game because whenever he was coaching Carson Wentz at Philadelphia, this was something he loved to do. Get him running outside the pocket and getting, our, talented tight ends open. And that's something we have. We have a Jack Doyle. We have a Mo Alley Cox. We got a Trey Burton. We got 3 talented tight ends. It's going to be interesting to see how they're utilized in the play action boot next year. So, again, this is going to be another example of what Carson Wentz is going to bring to this team. And that is going to be able to fit, and that is going to be fitting a ball into a tight window. Now, what was another big issue with the Colts offense last year? Even after, the second half of the season, whenever our offense started to look good, we still had some issues. And the main one was just red zone offense. Our red zone offense was just horrendous at times. It was ugly. And the reason for that was that when that field condensed, what has to happen? Your quarterback has to make a hard throw. He has to throw a ball into a tight space to score touchdowns. That's something Aaron Rodgers does fantastically. That's why people love Aaron Rodgers, really. It's because it doesn't matter where he's at on the field, he's going to be able to perform. But for Phillip Rivers, an aging man, he's 39 years old, his arm strength was gone. He couldn't fit a ball into a tight window. But that's not going to be an issue for Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz, if he makes the correct reads in the red zone, is going to be able to fit that ball into, a tight 4x4 window where only a receiver can get it. Like here. Watch Alshon Jeffrey on the outside. Throws the ball right to his back shoulder. Just perfectly thrown. I mean, just a beautiful throw. Alshon Jeffrey doing a good job of using late hands there. He shows his hands late to throw the corner off. If he puts his hands up early, the corner's going to know to put his hand in. He doesn't do that. He puts them up late, so he gets the ball. Corner doesn't reach his hands in, gets the catch, and gets about 25 yards. That's an excellent job there from Alshon Jeffrey. And a beautiful throw as well from Carson Wentz. I'm hoping that we're going to be seeing this connection between Carson Wentz and Michael Pittman Jr. next year. So last play I got for you guys, it's another RPO. And I'm going to show you why Frank Reich loves the RPO. It's dangerous. It is a very, very good play call in pretty much any part of the field. I think that's what Reich loves so much about it, and especially in the red zone. We were talking about red zone woes earlier for the Colts. Even if you do got a really big arm, even if you do make the correct reads, scoring in the red zone is still difficult just because your margin for error is so much smaller compared to whenever you're at the 40-yard line or at the 50. But right here, we're going to see another great example of RPO. And I'm going to break this down for you. Look at Carson Wentz. Where's he looking? He's looking right here. This is going to be his read. He understands that. So whenever the ball's snapped, boom, snaps to the ball, fakes to the running back. This guy's got eyes on Carson Wentz the whole time. He's reading him. They're both looking at each other. They're looking at each other. So once he fakes his handoff, he's kind of froze. So he's looking at Carson Wentz. He's wondering what he's going to do. Right here comes Nelson Aguilar that's going to be wide open in the end zone. And that's why it's a perfect play. I don't want to call it a perfect play call, but that's why it's such a good play call. Is because it freezes defenders. It makes them have to think for a second to keep them out of them lanes so your quarterback can make an accurate throw to a guy that's going to be, virtually wide open in this scenario. Great throw there from Carson, though, putting it high there, making sure that this guy's not going to get to it, and keeping it away from 35 and the safety back here. That's just an excellent job by Carson there. It's a great read, and it's a great play call, too, because, again, I can't stress this enough. We're going to see a lot of this next year. This is going to be ran a ton, and for good reason. It works very well in today's NFL. The read option on top of having a guy to throw to is really deadly. But that's all I got for you guys. Let me know what you think. Do you think Carson Wentz is going to change the dynamics of this offense, or do you think it would have been better if Philip Rivers stayed? Me personally, again, I think Carson Wentz is going to make this offense better, just because we could stretch the field vertically. I think that was a big issue last year. We couldn't run the ball because teams really didn't respect our vertical passing offense. They didn't respect Philip Rivers' arm, and at times that did lose us a couple games. The Browns was an example of that. The Ravens were especially an example of that. They played that physical man coverage. You couldn't go deep against it. You couldn't get open on slants. And then they stacked the box when Jonathan Taylor was in. So that was just unfortunate. It happens. Stuff like that happens. But hopefully Carson Wentz changes the dynamics of this offense. But yeah, if you're still here, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video, to listen. Again, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you like the content, drop a like, subscribe, and until next time, guys, peace.